I moved to a quiet cul-de-sac in Willow Creek, expecting nothing but peace. After 20 years working in traffic infrastructure, I'd finally retired early and bought my dream home, a modest, sun-drenched ranch at the edge of the neighborhood with a big garage and plenty of yard space. The first few weeks were everything I hoped for: quiet mornings, friendly nods from dog-walking neighbors, and weekend barbecue smells drifting through the air. It didn't take long, though, before the neighborhood's self-appointed queen made her presence known. Her name was Beverly Langston, late 50s, always in pressed khakis and a windbreaker with HOA director embroidered like a badge of honor. She didn't knock to say hello or drop off a welcome basket. She knocked with a clipboard. Her tone was sharp. "Your truck," she said, motioning to where it sat halfway tucked in the garage, "sticks out past your driveway by 6 inches. That's a violation of Article 3.7 in our guidelines." She handed me a fine for $120. I blinked. 6 inches. That's what started it. I asked if I could see the exact bylaw. She scowled. "You'll receive it in your welcome packet," she barked before marching away like a meter maid with something to prove. That night, I dug through the HOA documents myself. There was no Article 3.7. Not even close. Over the next few weeks, I noticed Beverly's car, a silver Range Rover, circling my street like a hawk. I caught her snapping photos of my flower beds. Once, I walked out to find her measuring the height of my mailbox. Another fine came this time for my grass being irregularly mowed. Then another for my trash bins being 2 feet off spec. Every single one came with a threat: pay the fine or face legal escalation. She was making it up as she went. When I calmly confronted her about it during a community meeting, she shut me down hard. "You clearly don't understand how Willow Creek operates," she said with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "We have standards here." The thing was, she had no real backing. I started comparing notes with neighbors and discovered they'd all received similar bogus citations. One woman got fined for having purple flowers. Another got a notice for suspicious lighting. Nobody fought back because Beverly made examples out of those who did. I started documenting everything. I had 15 years of experience working with local code enforcement. I knew how to read a zoning map. I knew what real ordinances looked like. I began logging her visits, collecting photos, timestamps, and comparing her citations against actual city regulations. Most didn't hold water. Then came the tipping point. One morning at 50 a.m., I stepped outside to find my pickup truck gone. At first, I thought it had been stolen, but no Beverly had it towed. She left a smug little note taped to my front door: "Non-compliant vehicle removed per HOA guidelines." It cost me $380 to get it back. What pushed me over the edge wasn't the money. It was the Facebook video she posted a few hours later. She was grinning in her robe in front of my empty driveway, saying, "This is what happens when people think they're above the rules." The comments were full of her friends cheering her on, like she was some neighborhood hero. I wasn't angry. I was surgical. I already knew she wasn't operating under any legal HOA charter. She had reworded dozens of bylaws, bypassed community votes, and faked documentation. But now, I had something better evidence of her celebrating the illegal towing of my vehicle. The city didn't take kindly to that. I reopened my license as a certified towing operator. using my professional credentials. Then I quietly started a legitimate towing service, Fairway Enforcement Solutions. It was just me and a truck, but it was enough. While Beverly continued harassing me and other neighbors fines for off-brand wreaths, overfilled bird feeders, and non-regulation pavers, I focused on her Range Rover. She parked it daily beside the hydrant at the end of Sycamore Lane, right across from my house. It was illegal, and I now had the license to do something about it. Over 2 months, I collected 31 documented parking violations photos, time-stamped video, everything. Then I looped in 2 crucial people. First was Harold, a retired lawyer 2 doors down. He'd been bullied into repainting his entire house over an unapproved beige. He had copies of old bylaws from before Beverly took over, and proof she'd never held a proper vote on any changes. Then came Rachel Beverly's own niece, who worked for the city's zoning office. She'd long been embarrassed by her aunt's behavior, and, after seeing the towing video, she quietly handed me internal records. Beverly had illegally claimed ownership of the community's green space and had been leasing it out to vendors on weekends for cash. And the land it wasn't HOA owned. It was deeded to the neighborhood's original developer, and through a chain of inheritance, it now legally belonged to me. The next HOA meeting, I brought receipts literally. Rachel attended as a city zoning rep. Harold provided a full legal analysis. I brought a copy of the land deed showing I owned the so-called community lot. Then I played Beverly's video for everyone, ending with a printout of my $380 towing receipt. What you're looking at, I told the room, is not leadership. It's abuse of power. The vote to remove her was swift and nearly unanimous. Beverly voted for herself. Nobody else did. But the real showstopper came the next morning. Beverly, unaware of what had just legally happened, parked her Range Rover in the same hydrant spot she'd used for years. Only this time, she didn't get a pass. At 6:00 a.m., I rolled up in my clearly marked tow truck, now operating as a licensed contractor for the city. Neighbors gathered as I backed into position. Beverly came running out in her house slippers, screaming, "You can't do this. I am the HOA." "No," I said, handing her the legal citation and impound notice. "You were." She shouted that she'd sue, that this was harassment, that I was abusing my power, but I had every legal right, and everyone knew it. I towed her car the exact same way she had mine, the same fee, the same impound lot. The irony was sweeter than anything I could have planned. Over the next 3 months, we overhauled